Ethan Bear has been one of the biggest surprises of the season for the Edmonton Oilers, maybe even the biggest one. When training camp started in September, no one had the 22-year-old defenseman penciled into the Oilers starting lineup. Yet here he is today, playing regularly among the team's top 4 defensemen.
He was in that group with all the other young defensemen there, and he couldn't seem to break out of the logjam with Caleb Jones and William Lagesson, and now he has broken free of that, and he's an NHL player now. And I don't know if there's a singular moment in a game where the coach says he's an NHL player, or he plays against several teams that are good teams and he looks like he's a player. But he is a top 4 player now, and he's gone from being a prospect to being an NHL player, which is really tough for a defenseman to win the trust of the coach. Now he's been playing with Darnell Nurse pretty much most of the year, and it looks like they got to sign him now in the same boat that Darnell Nurse was a couple of years ago. You know, whether they sign him to a long-term contract or try to get him on a bridge contract for a couple of years at less dollars. So
I think it's safe to say that Ethan Bear has surpassed expectations. I wasn't sure he was going to be able to make the team this year, to be honest with you. I thought he's a guy that comes in, he's a very good skater, very good offensive abilities. His defensive game was something that was always a little suspect going back to his days in junior hockey with the Seattle Thunderbirds, and I thought that he would go back to the American Hockey League, work on his defensive game, play a lot of minutes there, be the number 1 defenseman there, and then maybe towards the middle of the season or next season he would come up and make an impact with the Edmonton Oilers. Ethan Bear has been a revelation this season because he came up and a lot of people weren't sure if he was ready for the NHL, but he's proved basically everyone wrong. He's become a steady stalwart on that blue line, and his defending was a little suspect at the beginning, but he's figuring it out now, and I think that was the thing, that was the knock on Ethan Bear, is how is he going to be able to defend bigger, stronger forwards at the NHL level. And you don't necessarily have to be a big, strong defenseman to be an effective defenseman at the NHL. You look at some guys like Jared Spurgeon in Minnesota, even Chris Russell here, smaller guys. They just know how to use their bodies, how to leverage themselves, how to win puck battles. And Ethan Bear looks to me like he's figured that out. He's figuring it out, and he's kind of realized that he can compete at this level. He can play at this level.
Bear has stepped into the Oilers lineup with poise, able to better fend off forechecking and to look for a play when he has the puck. He's more of an offensive defenseman. He's an able puck mover, and he's seen as a power play quarterback of the future.
Offensively, and when he has the puck, I think he's a very calm with the puck. He doesn't want to just get rid of it. He's looking to make a play. He's looking to make a pass. He's looking up the ice, and I think that's the one thing that a lot of people really liked about Ethan Bear, because he wants the puck on his stick, and he wants to make a play. A lot of defensemen, as soon as they get the puck, it's off the glass and out, and they're just defensive defensemen. But Ethan Bear likes to jump in the rush, likes to get into play, likes to start the play.
It's a good situation. He seems to be a player who's not just an offensive defenseman, like Evan Bouchard is portrayed as an offensive defenseman. I think Bear is kind of one of those ones where he can defend and he can also put up some points, which in today's game makes you even, doubly more valuable, because you're just not a power play guy, or you can only put up points when you're behind in the games and such.
Bear was a 5th-round pick by the Oilers in the 2015 NHL draft, the same year they took Connor McDavid with the number 1 overall pick. There are 7 rounds in any given NHL draft. Edmonton didn't have a 2nd or a 3rd-round pick that year, but they did very well with their middle and later picks that included Bear, who was starring for the WHL's Seattle Thunderbirds when the Oilers called his name with the 124th selection. Bear did play 18 games for the Oilers late in the 2017-18 season, after he was called up from Bakersfield at the beginning of March. He had played 34 games for Bakersfield in his first year of pro. He was averaging 18 minutes per game by the time he scored his first NHL goal on March 25th that year. The member of the Ochapowace First Nation in southeastern Saskatchewan spent all of last season in the AHL with Bakersfield. This past summer, he worked hard to get into NHL playing shape, and it paid off.
I think there's a difference between junior shape, where he played in Seattle, American League shape, where he played in Bakersfield, NHL shape, where he played in the NHL, where he's playing in the NHL, and he dedicated himself this past summer to get in better shape, and he was around Edmonton for a large chunk of the summer, working out with the skating coach David Pelche, and did the things that were required. And I think the team noticed, but even before he went to training camp, that he dedicated himself to do some things that weren't just playing the game.
The one thing about Ethan Bear when he was first drafted was maybe his work ethic wasn't as high as the Oilers would like it to be. He's a very talented guy, but I think he had to learn that when you want to be a professional hockey player, it's about putting in the time and putting in the effort to kind of get your body right